The human body requires a small amount of sodium to conduct nerve impulses, contract and relax muscles, and maintain the proper water balance and minerals. It is estimated that we need about 500 milligrams of sodium daily for these vital functions. An average blood sodium level is between 135 and 145 milliequivalents per liter. Hyponatremia occurs when the sodium in your blood falls below 135 milliequivalents per liter. You check your blood sodium levels when you check on your blood electrolytes. What happens to the body when the sodium level is high? High sodium levels in your blood means your blood doesn't have enough water. In addition to triggering thirst, high blood sodium levels can lead to confusion, muscle twitchings, or coma. A blood test is required to diagnose high sodium blood levels, but watching for early signs may help prevent serious consequences. Immediate effects of taking high salt consumption are increased thirst, swollen feet or hands, headaches in some cases, a rise in blood pressure. These symptoms aren't particularly debilitating at the moment. Plus, since your kidneys are always helping balance the amount of sodium in your body, they don't last long. But what happens in your body when you overwhelm your kidneys with salt isn't good. If your kidneys can eliminate the salt you're taking from your diet, sodium starts to build up in your body. Then water collects, as you know. Salt causes retention, resulting in bloating, and causes more strain on your heart. That is how you get high blood pressure, which strains your heart, blood vessels, and kidneys. As your blood volume increases, your heart has to work harder to pump blood throughout your body. This then increases pressure in your arteries. What's more, when the heart is pumping harder, it places pressure on the vessels in every organ, including the kidneys. This is why, over time, overeating salt comes with long-term health consequences, including high blood pressure or hypertension, heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, kidney stones. According to some researchers, this happens to individuals, but statistics do not seem to increase morbidity or mortality. The WHO suggests consuming 2000 milligrams or 2 grams of sodium daily, and the American Heart Association advises much lower intake of 1100 milligrams or 1.5 grams per day. Today, Americans consume much more sodium than health authorities recommend, averaging about 3,400 milligrams, that is 3.4 grams daily. Sri Lankans consume about 11.4 grams of salt per day. The reason is that many curries are served with your rice, and each curry will have a teaspoon of salt when you limit it to half a teaspoon per day. No wonder such high heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure are prevalent among Sri Lankans. In Japan, the daily intake is a whopping 26,000 milligrams, more than 11 teaspoons of salt. which ranks the highest globally in terms of longevity. The average life expectancy was 81.4 years for men and 87.5 years for women in 2019. Such success in health is attributable to the substantial reduction in age-standardized mortality from cardiovascular disease, especially strokes, 136 per 105 in 1980 and 24 per 105 in 2015, when stroke mortality was the highest in the world between the 1960s and 1990s. So it appears that high salt consumption does not seem to cause an increased incidence of stroke, high blood pressure or heart disease among Japanese. China and the United States are superpowers in salt consumption, but the Sri Lankan daily rice and curry diets beat them. High salt levels in food are a significant cause of high blood pressure and its related risks of heart and kidney diseases and death. How salt affects your blood pressure and health depends on your genes, age and medical conditions. So limiting your salt intake should be a priority in your lifestyle. Meat eaters consume much more salt than vegetarians. Processed meat products, including meat alternatives, bacon, canned meat, frozen meat, meat burgers, salami and cured meat, sausages and hot dogs, sliced meat, dried meat and meat spreads, kebabs, other meat products and raw flavored meats, whole hams, similar products, roast chicken and raw unflavored meals are all high salt foods. Processed fish products including canned, chilled, frozen and other items. Overeating salt daily in your food may harm your health. This may not be true when you take the Japanese figures. Hundreds of studies have examined the connections between salt intake and blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and mortality. In general, they show that cutting back on salt lowers blood pressure and reduces the chances of having a heart attack or stroke. The trouble with these studies is that virtually everyone has flaws, which are pointed out immediately by those who disagree with the study's conclusions. They are too short, too small, not like the real world, or influenced by factors other than sodium. Some of the most compelling evidence that eating less salt can lower blood pressure comes from the dietary approaches to stop hypertension or DASH trials. The first DASH trial showed that a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy products, whole grains, beans, nuts, fish and poultry lowered blood pressure in people with normal and high blood pressure. A low-salt diet is recommended for older people. A lower sodium diet is good for older people of African American descent and Sri Lankans who have high blood pressure or diabetes or whose blood pressure is gradually creeping up. The Institute of Medicine, the Dietary Guidelines for Americans, and the American Heart Association recommends limiting your sodium intake to no more than 2,300 or 2,400 milligrams daily. If you have heart failure, salt can cause increasing swelling. Too much salt can lead to hospitalization for powerful intravenous drugs to remove excess fluid. People with heart failure are usually advised to keep their sodium intake under 2,000 milligrams a day. People with kidney disease are generally instructed to do the same. Does salt intake affect your urine? Drinking too much of water isn't the only thing that can make you pass urine in excess. Surprisingly, overeating salt can have the same effect. When your sodium intake is, your kidneys have to work overtime to clear out the extra salt, so you end up passing more urine than usual. Nighttime urination is reduced by cutting salt in the diet. The need to pass urine at night, or nocturia, which affects most people over the age of 60, is related to the amount of salt in your diet, according to new research presented at the European Society of Urology Congress in London. So too much salt intake in your food can harm your body. Be aware of the fact that and limit your salt intake. I hope this video presentation was useful. Stay safe and goodbye for now.